Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm the scrapbooking photographer. Linda's my name, and today I'm here to help Shannon Keith celebrate reaching 500 subscribers on her YouTube channel. Now Shannon's channel is called Creative Chaos in TN. And Shannon's brief for the video was flowers and bling, because there are a couple of things that she loves. So today I am working with some photos from Mother's Day in 2021 when my son sent me a lovely bunch of flowers. I'm also going to incorporate a couple of things from the new catalogues with Close to My Heart. We've just released the new annual catalogue, which is called The Essentials. And in here there are some lovely stencils on page 34 and 35. So today I am going to use this one here, which is ideal for a card front. It's a card front size, but I'm going to incorporate it into my scrapbook layout and show you how to do that, use that one. And in the current catalogue, which is just for these 2 months, there's a beautiful alphabet there called the Dainty Script Stamp Set. So I'm going to use that one as well. So my base cards are going to be shortbread. Now Close to My Heart papers are dark on one side and light on the other. So I've chosen to use the lighter side today of shortbread. And I'm also going to use Scarlet. The inks I'll use will be Scarlet and Toffee. Now this little piece here came on the bouquet. You can see it included on the front of the bouquet here. So being a typical scrapbooker, I tore it off and kept it, and it's been in my cupboard for a few years, so it'll be great to be able to use that. And it's pretty close to the scarlet colour, so that will work in nicely. So let's move this aside. Oh, I've got this fabric too, which I don't think it came with this bunch of flowers, but it would have come with a bunch of flowers, and I thought it might be handy because it kind of blends in as well. So we'll put all this aside and we'll start with the stenciling. I'm not sure how easily you can see that on camera, but oh, there we go. You can see that the stencil could be used as perhaps water drops or other little abstract markings, but actually it's designed to be used as a 2-coloured heart. So that's what we're going to use it for today, and to do so I'm using the Scarlet ink and the Toffee ink with their coordinating blending brushes. So we've got the light side of shortbread, and I'm just going to mark the halfway point here. And that way, when we bring the stencil in, we can start where we know it's going to be in the middle of the one going across. Starting with the toffee. Now I'm just going to have this as a border, so I don't want to go over the edges of the stencil, because I don't want any lines in places where I don't want them on the cardstock. So I'm just going to gently go over here a few deep to get the top one there, and then I can move it along using the holes that are in here to line it up, and that will give me a few more just to get over this side, and then using them to line up to do the corner. Okay, so that gives us a good width then to come down the side, and I will get those ones on the side of the page, because when the other side of the heart comes in, it'll be a different colour, so it will look like it's meant to be there. And then coming down, it's good to just overlap a couple and line it up here, because that way you don't have to go too hard on the ones at the bottom and risk getting that line in the wrong place. Okay, so just coming down with this one. And line it up again to get down to the bottom. All right, now to do the corner here, we're going to just go across now, and we can use, again, line it up, and that also helps to keep it straight as well. And just make sure you've kind of got things in the right angle at the bottom here. And then we'll do a few here. Okay, so I'll just whiz around and finish off the toffee, and I'll come back when we're ready to do the scarlet. Okay, so there's our toffee all the way around. I'll just pop that to one side because the next step is really important, and that is to clean the stencil before you do the scarlet. What you don't want is to go over the top and have the two colours blending. So we'll just clean that all off. Dry it, and then bring in the scarlet. There's two ways you could do this. You could move it up like that to get the opposite side, but you would then be using losing one line. So on a card front, for example, it's really important that you have the whole thing. So what we're going to do is flip it over, and that will give us the other side of these hearts. Now that they're all lined up, we can go in from the side. Just have to be a little bit careful with these ones. So I'm actually going to put my finger over those ones here because I don't want it to be near the too near the edge and get red lines where we don't want them. Isn't that cool, the way that works? So clever. Okay, and then we go, and ta-da! Okay, so just move that down a bit, and we're going to do exactly the same thing here, lining it up with the ones above so that we get it straight, and you've also got your other hearts then as a bit of a guide too. Okay, so we don't need to be quite so careful here because we've got a bit more room, and this bit's going to have other stuff over it, so it wouldn't matter if we went over the edge, but it does down here. So we'll leave the bottom line and move it down, and this will take us to the bottom of the page. Okay. I'll just work my way around the frame, and I'll be back when it's finished. Okay, so there we have our stenciled background. Pop that to one side, and again clean all our bits. This is a nice easy stencil to clean. It's hasn't got lots of little bits that can catch in the wrong places. So there's the full piece of our background piece all stenciled up. And I've cut 1.5 inches off two sides here, which we could place in the middle here, but just to be different, and because we're not going to get an even amount of hearts everywhere, I'm just going to turn this on its side and use that as our base. So I've got 3 things that I really want to put in here. One is that photo of me, then put that one on the side there, and then this is the card, so if I ever want to read it in the future I can grab it out. So I'm thinking something like that with the title up here. So with the title I'm going to bring in another piece of this shortbread, but perhaps with the darker one. As I mentioned, at the back of this catalogue, which is current for Close to My Heart until the end of October, there's this alphabet here called Dainty Script Stamp Set. So that's what I'm going to use today. And all the letters are in lowercase, which is quite cool. So always exciting when you use a stamp for the first time. I'll season it just by popping it over my forearm. And then I'll get the words ready. And the great thing about Close to My Heart acrylic blocks is that there's this line underneath that you can look through to line up these letters, so you can get them nice and straight on the block before you need to stamp them. So I'll just go and line these up. Okay, so always better to stamp on a spongy side. So we'll bring in this shortbread, and I think we will use the Scarlet ink pad. We'll just see what this looks like. I like it. I'll come in and stamp J. And then we need to do the year. Okay, Mother's Day 2021. Okay, so we'll bring the page back in and just see where it's going to fit. It's quite a big title. Just cut a little bit, just cut it down a little bit more. Better to cut too big to start with and then have room to go smaller. Okay, so we've completely changed how we're going to do this now. Right, and just use the brush to go around the outside of this a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a blend into the background, and also to get rid of the cut edges on my blade, which is just a little bit blunt. You can do this as heavy-handed or as light-handed as you like, or a mixture, which seems to be what I've ended up with. Okay. Before we stick anything down, I just want to use a little piece of this in here, which I think will just soften everything. I'm just going to cut a square bit off the edge here, not particularly evenly cut. Sometimes it's nice to use fabric instead of paper all the time and cardstock, and it just softens things a little bit. And also, because this came from a bouquet, it is kind of that floral type feel. There we go. Okay, so I'll just put a little bit of sticky on here where I know the photos are going, so that helps to hold it down without us getting anything in the way. And now we can stick the photos down. So the first thing to go on is the title, which goes nicely in that square there. Now I want my photo to be kind of straight align with the side of the scarlet and the title, so I'll put that there. This one I think can go just underneath here. We'll have a little bit of things showing through, and then the card I just want to fit under here so that we can see that it is in fact the card from this bouquet. And I've just stuck that down with a little piece of tape runner just to hold it in place, but you can still get it out if you want to. Right, to add this little piece of fabric that came on the wrapping around the outside that I've saved meticulously for years. Right, so I've evened those sides up, and I think that will just sit nicely there. So again, I'll put some fairly generous amount of sticky there, and that gets kind of framed then by the envelope. Right, now it's time for some bling. I have two sorts of bling I'm going to add. One is these little holographic butterflies, which I thought would go quite nicely. And then to finish those up, we'll just put a couple of little gold bits down here. Thank you, Shannon, for allowing me to take part in your celebration. Congratulations again on your 500 subbies. I'm interested to see what everybody else has come up with for their flowers and bling. So have a look at everybody else whose channel is listed in the description below. If you'd like to try this layout, take a screenshot of it and feel free to copy. If you'd like to see more layouts that I do in the future and things that I come up with, then please subscribe to the channel. Your support would be most welcome, and thank you to those of you who already have subscribed and support my channel. So I'll put some close-ups in at the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and happy crafting.